All right, so now we're going to start section 2.1, which is about logical form and logic equivalence. So I'm going to start with the definition of what an argument is. So definition, an argument is a sequence of statements aimed at demonstrating the truth of an assertion. Okay, so it's a sequence of statements aimed at demonstrating the truth of some kind of assertion. And we call the assertion at the end of the argument is the conclusion. And the statements before the conclusion, the preceding statements, are called premises. So now we're going to use some notation. When I say not P, what is this going to refer to? Refers to the statement, it is not the case that P, whatever P is. And then if I use the symbol with these 3 dots here, this means therefore. So let's look at an example of an argument. If the bell rings or the flag drops, then the race is over. Therefore, if the race is not over, then the bell hasn't rung and the flag hasn't dropped. So a lot of times we use letters and symbols, variables in these kinds of arguments. So let's say I use P as a variable for the bell rings. And then I'm going to use the variable Q for the flag drops. And then one more variable, the race is over. Let's use the variable R for that. So now let's look at the conclusion and write it in terms of these same variables. The race is not over. Well, the race is over was R, so the race is not over would be not R. The bell hasn't rung. That would be not P. The flag hasn't dropped. That would be not Q. Let's look at another argument. So we'll call this argument 2. And let's say it says if x equals 2 or x equals negative 2, then x squared equals 4. Therefore, if x squared is not equal to 4, then x is not equal to 2, and x is not equal to negative 2. So again, let's use some symbols for these statements here, some variables. So let's say x equals 2, that's going to be P. Q will be x equals negative 2. And let's use R for x squared equals 4. Well, then this would say if x squared is not equal to 4 would be not R, then not P, and not Q. And if you compare this to the first argument, you would see that these two arguments have the same, what I'll call, common form. And it goes like this. It says if P or Q, then R. Therefore, if not R, then not P, and not Q. So let's go over what a statement actually is. A statement and this is sometimes called a proposition, is a sentence that is true or false, but not both. So let's look at a few examples here. Let's say I say 2 plus 2 equals 4. This is a sentence, and hopefully we can all agree that this sentence is true. So this would be a statement. Similarly, if I tell you 2 plus 2 equals 5, this is also a sentence. And in this case, 2 plus 2, I know that that's not equal to 5, so this sentence would be false. So this is also a statement. But what about these? X squared plus 2 equals 11. This is a sentence, right? I can write it in English if I want to, but it's actually true for some values of x, right? And false for maybe other values. So it's not only true or only false. It could be true and false. So this is not a statement. Similarly, x plus y is greater than 0. This is a sentence, but it's true for some values of x and y and false for others. So these last two, these are not statements. And then I want to end by talking about what are called compound statements. So we're going to use some notation when we talk about compound statements. If we're going to say not P, we're going to use the symbol tilde P. If we use and, we're going to use the symbol. When we use or, we're going to use the symbol. Okay. And just one thing I want to mention is that in these are kind of thought of like operations, and so your order of operations says that not, the tilde sign, is performed first. So if you see a compound statement, for example, something that looks like this, we'll say not P or Q. What this is really saying, the not is done first. So really this is the same thing as not P and Q. So one thing that we've been working with kind of in the background is we're taking sentences and converting them into these symbols. And so when you see the phrase P but Q, what does this phrase really mean? It means P and Q. And when you see a phrase that says neither P nor Q, what does it mean? It means not P and not Q. So let's take and write something, a compound statement symbolically. So let's say, let H be the statement, it is hot, and S is going to be the statement, it is sunny. And what I want you to do is write symbolically the following sentence. So write the sentence symbolically A. It is not hot, but it is sunny. So remember that the but, what did that mean again? It meant I need to put in an and. So if I'm looking now, let's look at our two pieces here. Not hot and sunny. So that'll be what? Not hot and sunny. All right. Let's write this statement symbolically. It is neither hot nor sunny. So take a minute. You can pause the video if you want and write down this statement symbolically. All right, so what would this symbolically mean? Remember, this says neither, has a neither and a nor. So you want both of these things to not be true. There's an and between them. So not hot and not sunny. Right?